a high pressure fuel pump, and a 10 to 16 Panamera 970. This one's a 3.6, but it's the same for the 4.8. I kind of got ahead a little bit here. So basically, you're gonna pull your windshield wiper caps. It's a 16 millimeter, I think. You're gonna pull both your windshield wipers off. You're gonna unscrew these little quarter turns. Just twist them as you pull up on the thing, it'll pop. You got this little rubber trim pull off. You're gonna pull this corner off that sits on the coolant right here, and then you're gonna have another screw that sits right here that's gonna pull off this piece separately. And we're gonna do the same on the other side. You're gonna have a piece that sits right here with a screw and a screw. That's gonna be these pieces. So you're gonna have this piece. I've got my screws sitting right there, so I don't lose them. You're gonna have this corner piece, and you're gonna have this vent. It's all gonna be sitting up here. Your hood has this press button. Usually sits down in here to the position 1. You're just gonna press it, push your hood up until that one pops. So I'm gonna put your hood up in this service position. You should know that. This job's fairly easy. There's a couple videos on YouTube. People like, oh my God, let a dealer do it. It's not that hard. Next, we're gonna pull these coolant lines out right here. There's 2 little C-clips, and these coolant lines pop off. This side I've already got pulled. This piece right here just pulls up, sits in this little groove. And you're just gonna pull this up out of the way for the time being until we get that other side off, and then we'll slide this out. You gotta pull this vacuum line. It's right there. It's kind of a pain in the ass to get to. You're gonna squeeze both tabs and lift up on it. It gets stuck in there. It's kind of a pain in the ass, 2-hand job. But yeah, you're gonna pop that out, and then we're gonna pull this out next. Okay, there's these little clips that sit on here like this. What I do is I pull them just a little bit and I twist them, or you can put a pick in here and grab this top piece and slide it out of this groove. This groove sits like that, essentially, so it doesn't pull out. You can pull it out and it should pull off, but if you're fighting it, you can put a little pin in there and pull it. There's 2 of them. These pop out. There's O-rings on these, so be careful. You don't want to damage the O-rings. Best to replace these O-rings because good chance they don't seal again. I've seen them seal again. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If you're going this far, you might as well just put new O-rings in it. Once you get those out and all your bolts are off, you come over here and I'm gonna try to maneuver this. This one also clips in here. Clip there, clip there. You're gonna pull those out. These will come out of the way, so this comes off. I'm gonna do that now. I'll get back with you. I use these little 90 pliers. If you don't have these, you can use regular needle nose. Stick your pliers in there, grab it, and pull it off. Just 2 more of those clips. Then the lines come out. Now you can see we got a lot more room. I'm trying to do this one-handed, but I'll pop these off here. Get this out of the way, like that. Over here, just set this aside. I really don't like disconnecting a lot of this because how brittle everything is, but it's nice to get it out of the way. This is under heavy vacuum. That's why it was so hard to get out. I had to set the phone down for a second. I'm gonna just set this out of the way. I'm actually gonna plug that. Best trick on those. My flathead is missing. The best trick on those is to, what I like to do is get a flathead. And I put the flathead like right here. Pry down just a tad bit until you hear it click. There we go. Hear it click, you pull up on it. Set this out of the way. Okay, next we're gonna pull this frame, windshield wiper, and I'll get back with you. Okay, pull the wiper out. You're gonna have a T30 or a T27, one of those two. It's gonna be there, there, there. You're gonna have a 10 mil there, and then your wipers are gonna sit like this in default. You're just gonna grab this side over here and pull it. It's pretty easy. You're gonna have another one right there behind, sits under this, and then you're just gonna have to slowly maneuver it out. It's kind of a two-hand job. Let me pull it out and I'll show you guys. Okay, this is kind of a little tricky. It's not too bad once you know how to do it. I'm gonna tell you how to do it so you don't fight this. This up here, where this 10 mil was, has one of these. Pull this out. It sits in here like this, and it's kind of tight. It sits up against this windshield rubber. But you're gonna pull this out, which gives you a lot more play in there. Don't bend on these too much. They're very easy to bend, and you don't want to mess up this rotation, your windshield wiper. This side, you can see, sits right here. Sorry, this side sits on this. You need to push it when it sits down in here like this. You're gonna pop that one out. You're gonna push it toward the passenger side like this and up until you clear that motor, and then bring it out. And you can see this side is the same. You're gonna flip it, and you're gonna unplug it right there. And then we're gonna set this out of the way. All right, so to get this rack out, you're gonna have two 13 mils here, two 13 mils on the other side. I took out these T30s. There's one here, one there, and one on that side. There's a 15 mil there, 15 mil there, and then this, you just pull up on this tab right here and pull away. It sits up in here. You just pull it, it pops off of this. And there's the other T30 that I got right there. And I'm gonna pull this rack up out of here. You gotta unplug this plug, and I'll pull it out and show you guys. You're just gonna unplug this guy, get it out of the way. It's kind of tricky. You don't have to undo this, I don't think. I think this will come out with it, but it's a lot easier to do it this way. Pop these top ones off, and then you're gonna go to your other side. And you're gonna snake this line. You can pop it off right here. I just push it around. And then you're gonna push it that way and get it around this tank, because this tank doesn't come off. And once you get this off, you're just gonna jiggle it out. That's gonna come off. Also forgot to mention there's T30 on that bolts to that rack. You're gonna pull that off, and this is just gonna stay in the car. You're gonna pop these lines out of the way. This just unclips from here. And just pop that off. You're gonna get these lines, and you're gonna just wiggle this thing up out of here. that. And then once you get this out, it's gonna be your high pressure pump. You got full view to your high pressure pump now. Just get these up out of the way a little bit. Undo that, just to get it up out of the way. So there is your high pressure pump. It's right there on the back of the motor. I'll show you guys how to pull it out. Once I get the new one, it should be here tomorrow. So that's all for now. We'll resume tomorrow when I get my pump, and we'll get it put back in, and I'll show you guys how to do that. Don't be scared of this job. At the end of the day, this is just a car. I get a lot of people that are like worried to work on these cars because it's Porsche, whatever. At the end of the day, it's just a car. It's nothing to be concerned with. Every car is nuts and bolts. I've done this job twice. Once like 5 years ago on my last Panamera, and this one now. Other than that, I haven't done the high pressure pump. This is my second time doing it. And I don't really have any general knowledge on these cars, aside from just tackling the job, kind of looking at everything and realizing what needs to come out. This is my second time, so I know a lot more than I did the first time. But the first time I kind of just winged it, and yeah, it was fine. Came out fine. So, yep, tomorrow, come back in and I'll show you guys how to get this pump out of here. These are the O-rings I recommend replacing when you pull this apart. You can see they're still protruding. I mean, these are probably fine. They're gonna seal, but it's just, like that one's a little, you can see it. It's just easier to just replace them. You already have it apart. The last thing you wanna do is put this back together and find out you have a coolant leak and have to pull these back apart to put O-rings in it. So yeah, I just recommend just doing it. But yeah, this car sat for I want to say, well, I guess it was 4 years. 4 years. It went to the auction as a repo and had a bad transmission. The guy that I bought it from bought it, put a trans in it, put a high pressure fuel pump in it, but he put an Amazon special in it or something to that nature, like a $400 reman from an off brand, and they're not good. Don't do it. If you're this far in it, it sucks, but do not buy a reman. They're just all around not gonna have luck. I mean, 1 in a million shot. I mean, you get one that doesn't give you an issue for another 50,000 miles if you're lucky, but it's just not worth it. You can get some remans on eBay. They're OEM from China if you are willing to wait for, I think, $600 to $800. They're OEM, just reman, but the time frame from China to here, I think was like 3 weeks or something like that. And it was just, I drive this car every day, so I just bought one. It sucks. It's part of the game though. You're gonna buy these cars. This is gonna be an issue eventually. This car has 130,000 miles on it, but I think the main problem with this was I bought the car with 128,000 miles, and when it went to Copart auction in 2022, it had 128,100 miles, and when I bought the car, it had 128,600 miles. So it drove 400 miles in the 4 years or whatever. The guy that I bought it from put a trans in it, did a high pressure fuel pump, and the motor was making a noise, so he just sold it. I bought it pretty cheap. It ended up being an intake manifold that was making the noise. These have some intake runners in them, some flaps that open and close to direct the air for more torque on the lower end, and on the higher end, the flaps open inside the manifold, but one of them was broke, so it was making a really loud clicking noise. So yeah, I mean, I got super lucky on that. I bought this with the intention of it might need a motor, or some timing chains, etc. I got lucky. It was just an intake. I bought a used intake, as you can see off eBay. It was like $160. It was more of a throw a part at it and see if that kills all the noise. And I got lucky. I put it on and the car ran fine, perfect. Drove fine for the last probably 1,000 miles. I think it has 130,700 or 800 miles on it. I think I've put 2,000 miles on it, somewhere in that nature. And knock on wood, it's been a really good car. It's cold AC, heated, cooled seats work. Everything works as it should. I had a long crank issue, and then I started getting reduced engine power on like every 10, 15 cranks. I replaced the whole low side pump in it. I didn't record it, but I did. I replaced the whole low side pump, and that was a pain in the ass. It's not that hard. Just make sure your car is on like fumes when you decide to do that, because you will lose a lot of gas popping that thing if you have anything over. I say when you hit the low fuel light, you still need to drive it more until you get down to almost zero before you attempt to do that. But yeah, I put that in there and the problem still persisted, and then it got worse. And then yesterday I was only getting 80 PSI on my live data for the high pressure side. So the pump definitely went out. And then it came back this morning. I pulled it into the garage. It had 700 PSI at idle on the high side and was dead fine. But once it gets warmed up and you drive it a lot, the pump fails. I don't know what part of it has failed. If you're going to do the pump too, order the O-ring and order the cam cap. There's a plastic cam cap in there that you have to replace. Do not assume that yours is going to be good, because they get hot and brittle. They break. Don't waste your time. Just order it. It's like $30 on Pelican parts. You usually have it within a day or two from them. They're awesome. I also ordered the fuel pump O-ring from them. And these O-rings I'm going to buy probably from the dealer, because it'll probably be local and I can just go grab them. That was my fault. I didn't even think about those. Like I said, this is the second time doing the job. So yeah, I'm going to go buy those from the dealer probably and get robbed. But yeah, I will pick back up tomorrow when I get this high pressure pump, and then we'll rip it out and I'll show you guys how to do it all. But pretty easy access once you do all that. And I'd say maybe I'm in 30 to 45 minutes into getting down to this point here where I'm ready to pull this out. And I'd say replacing the pump maybe another hour, if that. Pull the pump out, clean the journal in there, put the new cam cap in, O-ring, slap it back on, tighten all your lines up, put everything back together. All around, this is probably a 2.5 hour job if you don't waste your time and just get after it. If you're doing it for the first time, obviously it might take you a little bit longer, because you're going to be figuring stuff out as you go. I try to do a little bit detailed video. There's not a lot of videos. There's a couple on YouTube that I found by searching, but nothing really like, hey, I'm doing this in my garage, not like in a full shop. I mean, I have a big toolbox, but I mean, by no means am I a mechanic. I just work on my own stuff. So yeah, this is it. You can see how much room we got. We'll get after it tomorrow. All right, so once you get back in here, you're gonna have 3 10mm bolts that sits back in here like this. So you're gonna have 3 10mm bolts. You're gonna pull this out, and then you're gonna have these right here, 10mm as well. There's gonna be 3 of them. There's one right here. You're gonna pull a 10 mil out of this coolant hose. You can see the tab right there. It screws into the back of this. You're gonna pull that 10mm out. You're gonna have 1 10mm right here in between the 2 lines. You're gonna have 1 10mm right there. Right there. Easy access to get to it. What I recommend doing, leave these 2 in first, pull this one out in between the lines. This bottom line's a 17, this top one's a 13. Or a 14. 14, 17 on the bottom. Pull this one out, and then you can crack your lines loose. And once you pull the 3 10s out, the pump will come right off. Okay, and the pump comes out like this. You can see on the back of this, you got 110 right here, 110 right here, and 110 in between. Pull your 2 lines off, you're gonna have 1 plug right there. But once you pull this out and up out of the way, you can flip it and unplug it. Super easy. This is the plastic cap I was telling you guys need to remove and put a new one in. That is the part number. It's a camshaft plug. I ordered this one from Pelican Parts. It was $35 and $17 for shipping. Definitely worth it. You need it. These are usually really brittle or break. This one was probably replaced when they put this Amazon pump in there. Easiest way to do this is do not turn this. When you pull this out, just set it on your bench next to your new one. Clock this to the position that you're in. Now this cam cap, I already pulled mine out and I didn't record it because it's kind of a two-hand job. When you pull your pump out, you're gonna reach in here and there's gonna be a metal cap in there that comes out and that plug sits inside of it. What I did was I grabbed a magnet and stuck it in there, and you kind of got to shimmy it because that plastic cap sits on a groove in there. But you'll pull that out, pull the plastic cap out, push the new one in, put it back in, put your pump in. You're going to want to spin it a little bit back and forth just to get the ears to line up. And you'll see when it pushes in, you're going to put a new O-ring on this as well. When you push this in, you'll feel it. You're going to line up your holes. You're going to put your 10 in down here. You're going to put your other 10 in down there. Snug them up. Then we're going to put our lines on, and then we're going to put that last 10 mil in, and then we're going to put our bracket back on here, and our coolant line goes on before you put this bracket. But put that on, and then I'll tap back in. Okay, so this is what you should be at. I got this 10 millimeter back in right here for this coolant line. I got my lines tightened, 17 on the bottom, 14 on the top. Then you got 3 10 mils for this plate right here, goes back in. Boy. If you don't disconnect your battery, this will shoot coolant out every time you open your door, so just be prepared for that. The dealership in Vegas said that they can't get these O-rings. I don't know why. I don't know if the guy just didn't know what he was looking at. He told me my car needed 2. Told him it has 4. Said he can't get them. He doesn't know the part number. I found the part number, told him. He said they're not in stock. He doesn't know where he can get them from, so I gave up on that situation. I'm going to try to reuse them. If I can't, I'm going to have to contact probably Pelican Parts and see if they can get them. Those guys are pretty good at getting pretty much everything. And they're in LA. I don't know where you guys are at, but, I mean, they ship fast. I mean, you order before, I think, noon or 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. I don't know what the time cutoff is, but usually it ships out the same exact day, and you can have it in 1 or 2 days. I'm only in Vegas, so I get it the next day. But, yeah, you're going to go about there. Now we're going to start putting everything back in. You're going to put your plastic firewall back in first. This is going to be that guy there. And once we get that in, we're going to put that bar in, and I'll just slowly go with you. I'll show you when I get this bar back in. We'll come back. Other thing to point out is the bottom of this has a, you see this groove all the way around? That's going to sit on that right there. Just going to pop down in there and sit on that, and then I'll show you guys. This is kind of a pain to get in there. But push that side in first. Walk over there, get it up underneath all those things, get that side kind of set down, come back over here, mess with it. Once you get it down, you're probably gonna have to push it that way toward the passenger side. If you look down in here, you can see it goes on that side of this little thing here. You're gonna push it down in there, and you'll know when it's locked in. When you come to this side, you're just gonna look. Make sure that this lines up down in here, and look along the back. If you can still see down in here, if you can still see the part it's supposed to be on, you'll know you're not on. But basically it just pushes down like that. You get that in, then we'll put that crossbar back in. Okay, so I got this bar back in. This coolant line goes here, this one goes here, this 2 up here. These things should line up if you got this plastic piece in right. This right here sits over the top like that. Push that side in first, get it under all those wires, bring it over here. Make sure that this is sitting up above the lines where it's supposed to go. You got your plug here for your vacuum. Your windshield wiper plug should be in the middle right there still. Tighten these bolts first, or get them started on both sides, and then tighten those dead last, these ones up on the windshield, because if those are not perfect, they're kind of bigger than the bolt So this thing has a lot of room to move. So if you tighten that down before putting these ones in, you won't line it up. So you got to move this around a little bit, push it, get the screws started. Don't cross thread it. Both over here, both over there. You'll see all these are lined up now. And then now we're gonna put the windshield wiper in. Okay, when you get to this point, put this side down in first, so it's under this lip right here. So it needs to sit on that. And you're gonna come over and you're gonna plug it in. Do not forget to plug it in because you cannot reach it once it is on. So it's plugged in, the easiest way I found is take the rubber bushing off, put it on the part. We're gonna come over here and make sure this is where it needs to be. This needs to go underneath. I'm gonna slide it over. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna push that down on there like that. Make sure it's plugged in. Make sure this is where it needs to be, not above this or under it. It gets stuck down there if you don't lift this side up, put it in. And then I'm gonna go back with this little guy. Real pain in the ass. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong or if it's just the way it is. I advise you not to do it the way I'm about to do it, but the way I do it is grab a socket, this rubber guy, and I tap it on. Just be careful not to touch your windshield. The windshields are not cheap. And I'm not a mechanic, so don't listen to me. Got it down on there. Now you're gonna put your bolt there, your bolt there, your bolt there, and your bolt there. All right, next we're gonna put this plastic piece on with this vacuum hose and 2 coolant lines that go in there. Don't forget, you're gonna put, you got a screw here, a screw here, a screw there, and one other on that side. You're gonna put those 4 in. That secures this first piece we put into this metal bar. And then we're gonna go ahead and put this in. This you're gonna feed under these wiring loom over here. This piece right here sits inside there. So that's how you're gonna know where it goes. We're gonna push it over, set it down. Then we're gonna come back over here. We're gonna connect our vacuum line back to the vacuum pump right there. And we're gonna come connect our vacuum booster back up. Then we're gonna get this mounted. It's gonna have a couple screws in the back here that line up to those right there. I'm gonna get that in and then I'll come back. One other thing I wanted to mention, before you go to put this back in, it's easier to put these plastic clips in, or these metal clips in this plastic thing. They're a pain in the ass to get on. So it's easier when this is out, just push them back in. What I do is I pull the clip, put it on the front, push the top on, and then push the bottom around and it clips in. You'll know it's in because you'll see a bar up top, bar on the bottom, and you won't be able to pull them out. They'll be locked in. And then you can see right here how they sit. They sit in that little groove, so that's how you'll know which way they go in. They'll sit in that little groove just like that. So, yep. It's easier to put those in now, and then the coolant line should just push right in and clip in. And then you're just gonna have to maneuver the coolant lines up out of the way, because they like to just keep falling in the way. What you have to do is just push them. Don't put them in, I just push them up there to hold them. Like that, and like that. And then we're gonna work this around here. Get that side down in there. Bolt line up right there. That will be flush down there. I gotta push this side back down. I'm in Vegas and it's like 117 outside today, so I'm trying to get it done and possibly help somebody that needs to do it, but I'm trying to be thorough. Just stuck on. Don't forget to plug in your vacuum pump, otherwise you will have 0 brakes. stuck on something. There we go. And your bolts should line up right there. And those are going to be your T30s. If you don't have one of these, order it on Amazon. It's like the best thing I've bought. Helps get in these tight spots. You definitely need one. You don't have to have it, but it's amazing to have it. I can tell you that much. So yeah, you're gonna have 4 bolts anyways. You're gonna have, oh, come on. There we go. You're gonna have one here. One here. And you're gonna have the same over there. You have one right here. And have one right there. I just dropped that one. Let me find that. But yep, that's where they go. Definitely invest in a magnet. No way I would have got that in this filthy ass car. Like I said, this car sat for like 4 or 5 years, just untouched, unstarted, had a bad trans. That's why it's disgusting. I'm gonna drive it, make sure it's 100% perfect before I get it fully detailed, paint correction, etc. Only paid $6,500 for this car. It's got clean interior, it runs good. So aside from this and putting the low pressure pump in it, I mean, it's been a decent car. You can't complain for the price. I mean, the market's not really there anymore, but I mean, they are good cars if you are mechanically inclined. If you're not mechanically inclined and you're not willing to go buy a few tools like this, didn't require any special tools, just required some stars, 15, 16, 17, 10 mil box wrenches, dumb little stuff. I mean, you could do this in your garage with a basic Harbor Freight toolkit, I would imagine. But if you're not willing to do that, I'd stay away from these cars. I mean, if you're gonna drive one, you should be able to work on it, in my opinion. Otherwise, you're just gonna be upside down in it. So, yep, I'm gonna push these coolant lines back in. We're gonna put this plastic trim back on, and we're gonna see if it fires. So once you get these in, you'll hear them clip in. Make sure you pull on them a little bit so they don't pull back out. You'll know when they're seated because they sit flush in there like that. This little piece slaps on the back, holds this line. You got your plug here and your vacuum line. Make sure you plug in that guy right there that you unplug to pull that bar out. And once I get to this point, the rest of this is all plastic. No plug-in stuff. It's all just the trim covering. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire it now. I'm gonna come back, make sure I don't have a coolant leak, make sure my fuel lines aren't leaking that I hooked up, and make sure I'm not dumping oil out of that. I did put a new O-ring in it, so I'm not worried about it, but it's always good to check all that before you get this whole thing back together, because if you put all this back together and that fuel line's leaking, you're gonna start pulling stuff apart again. I only go this far just because I don't fish this out. I just put it back in. I still have enough room to tighten these lines if I need to get to them. The coolant lines I can pop back out, put O-rings on if I can find them. Apparently Porsche doesn't know what they are. So yeah, I'm gonna fire it, make sure I get fuel pressure on my scanner, make sure everything's good to go, and then I'll slap it back together. Another thing I recommend doing when you do this is prime the pump. Like, I say 10 times. And then I've been told once you replace the low pump, not to let the tank go under half for the first few fill-ups. Get down to like around the half and then fill it. I don't know what truth that holds. I just do it. I mean, you want the whole pump submerged anyways. You put a new pump in it. Make sure it gets air, no air locks. I cycle the key 10 times just until I feel comfortable with it. Things going off because I'm too close to my toolbox. I'm gonna plug in my scanner. Whoa. And then if you shut everything off, you can hear the pump in the tank. So yeah, I'm gonna go over here to, go over here to live data. My fuel pressure, it's at 87, obviously, because I haven't cranked it. Oh, I forgot. Every time I do that, it's gonna have to relink. So yeah, I realized that I had a 1026 for fuel pressure. Realize that when you cycle the key, you do get the low pressure reading. There's no low pressure sensor in these cars to read the low pressure side of things, but I've noticed that I think it goes past the pump, obviously. So I know my fuel pressure level is at 90 psi. That it's getting the low pressure in. So let's go ahead and try to crank it and see what it does. Idling up right now until it warms up. I'm gonna push some air past everything, I'd imagine, and it'll come back down. I'm pretty sure that's normal fuel range. Above 500, I'd say at idle. Before, when I was giving it gas, I was not going up. I was going down to the 200 range sometimes when it was under a load. So I kind of ruled out that my high pressure pump was not the healthiest. So I just went and drove it for like probably 50 miles. And made sure that none of my codes came back, made sure that fuel pressure stayed good, and that I have no leaks. So down in there, can't really see, but yeah, made sure there was nothing going on. So I'm gonna finish putting this back together. I'll start with these little corner pieces right here, and then the cowl, windshield wipers, and then pretty much put it back together, and then you're good to go. This piece is gonna go next. You're gonna slide this piece in, and you're gonna have one T30 right here. It's gonna screw in. Make sure nothing's pinched or in the way. And then you're just gonna put this T30. Mine broke, but this T30 actually holds this guy right here, but mine already had broken, so. But yeah, put this in here. This side, same thing. You're gonna have a T30 right here, and a T30 right here. Whoops. Almost like I'm drunk. Yep, that's gonna sit right there. Next, we're gonna slap the windshield wiper cowl on. Now's a good time to just double check all this. Make sure your windshield wiper is plugged in. Make sure all your bolts are tight. Make sure all that's good to go, and then we're gonna slap this cowl back on. It's a little tricky. You got to take your hood out of service position to get a little bit more room on that side to get up under the hood. I put this side in first and push it up under here to get that side in. And then once you get it in, it's going to be a little tricky getting these all lined up. See, the car wants to sit right there. I got to push mine over. This sits down in this little groove. It's hard to see, but it'll sit in there. I usually take like this one and try to line it up, and then once you get it lined up under there, you just quarter turn that. It's in. Mine's broke, that's why it's not sitting down all the way, but and then you can come in here and Put this one in right there. Same on that other side, and then we're gonna put the other panels in right here. This sits down in this little groove under the windshield sill. You'll see there's a little channel, and then this has a channel in it as well. Just gonna push it down in there. It doesn't clip in or anything, it just sits there. Once you get that in, we're going to put the final pieces on, and we'll be done with this job. Also, don't forget, you're gonna put the seal back on. This is just C-channeled. It just slides on here, but I think this goes on first. There's gonna be a clip there. If I can get it. And a clip there. Flat headed in there. Oh, did this wrong. It slides under. No? Yes. This slides under. It's kind of a two-hand job, but yeah, this is gonna slide under here into place, and then you're gonna put these clips in. Okay. Clip there, it slides under over here. It's two-hand job, it's kind of a pain in the ass. I can do a high pressure pump in 2 hours, but it'll take me an hour to get that damn clip in. Don't know why. But yeah, this just clips in. Well, not clips in, it's down in there. It's a little track. The easiest way to do this is you'll start on one side, you'll see this little raised edge. It'll tell you where it goes. So now this is back in, make sure it's pushed all down. I'm gonna put this corner piece in. This part. And this goes this way. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna put this side under first, under the fender, and then you're gonna maneuver this one in, push right in like that. You're gonna go under this seal, out of the way. That, your holes are gonna line up, and this is gonna go on after you put your bolts on. Same thing, it's got a little channel in there. We'll push on. And you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. This one's gonna be the same way. I'm gonna go under the fender first. And in here, maybe you're supposed to put this on after. Let me try this. I don't think it really matters. You're gonna fight this coolant cap and getting under everything. There we go. I'm zoomed all the way out, so. Yep, and then same. These ones are T25s, I believe. I have 3 of them. I just put them right back in the hole when I pull this out. That way I know these ones are for this, because they are different sizes for everything else you pull apart under this cowl. So just put them right back. Don't use an impact unless you know how to use the trigger. And if you're trying to figure out what I mean by know how to use the trigger, then don't use an impact if you're trying to ask that. I'm not trying to be a smart ass, just you'll spin those and they'll break. Okay, pop this back in, back into this track. This is what I was saying on the other side. See how that line's there? You start it on this side with that line, and then good to go. Yep, everything's back in except for my windshield wipers. Thing I like to do, since I did have to move this arm to get that bolt to pull that windshield wiper out, I'm gonna cycle my windshield wipers. They should default to where they're off, and then I'll put my windshield wipers back on and I'll know where they need to sit. Yeah, they're back on. Just gotta put the bolts on. I just cycle the windshield wiper once or twice. Look in front of the hood, you'll see these spin, and then they'll default to where they're at, and then you can put them down. They're at. I recommend just slapping the bolts on real quick, running the windshield wipers, make sure they articulate how they're supposed to. If they don't, adjust them. They're just notched, so you pull them off, spin them one, each one. I usually take a picture of it before I start, then I know exactly where they are. Or if you're super particular, you can put a piece of tape or something, and you'll know where they go. But yeah, I'm gonna slap these bolts on. I'm gonna articulate, see if they're good, and if they are, we're gonna tighten the bolts up and put the caps back on, and it's a wrap. Just got the bolts back on. Turn your key on. Make sure the windshield's dry, so it's gonna make noise, but make sure you're getting far enough over here and they're not hitting. I think we're good on that. The thing is, these little plastic caps just slide on, they're grooved. Just push them on. There's no certain way. There is a little cutout right there. You can stick a little flathead in right there, or a pick, and pull up a little bit, and these will pop off to expose the bolts. On both sides, you can see there's another little groove right there. Pop those off, those come off, obviously, when you're starting. You're this far in the video, I did this backwards. I don't think I filmed taking this off, so. Yep, that is it. That's a wrap. Everything's back together. I'm gonna make sure everything's tightened up. You're gonna wanna check on these coolant lines. Mine did not leak, but I'm gonna keep an eye on them for the next few days, obviously, just to make sure. And I think we're good. I'm gonna double check everything, like I said, over the next couple days of driving and get some miles on it, and verify that I have no leaks. Fuel pressure stays good. I'm gonna finally get the car detailed. If it runs that long, there's a lot of miscellaneous stuff that needs to be done on this car, like that bolt. I'm sure somebody has noticed so far and thought, what in the hell? Why is that bolt backwards? I have no idea. Yeah, I did motor mounts on it. I gotta buy that part, and I have that and the trans mount that I gotta do. I'll probably do a video on the trans mount, but the trans mount's super easy, so it's not really worth doing it, but maybe I'll just do it. I mean, there are some DIYers at home that want to learn this stuff, and yeah, hopefully this helps somebody. You need a high pressure fuel pump and you got quoted a crazy amount and you're debating if you want to tackle this job. It's a step how to do it. So yep, that is it. Everything runs good. Check it over the next couple 100 miles. Make sure I don't get no leaks, coolant or fuel. Good to go. Thanks for watching.